So y'all, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy to be doing this program. I just yesterday I thought, this is a group of creatives. I need to do something really creative here. It's like I can't just be yakking, yak, yak, yak. I got to create something, make it visual and pretty, and do what I love, which is taking pictures. So what you're about to experience is sort of one of my favorite ways to teach, which is kind of like reading children's books, that are really simple. So that's my whole thing. Anyway, after the 20 years of playing in this world of space clearing, here's what I know in a nutshell. Clutter of any kind, be it physical, mental, or emotional, gums up the works. I think it's just no secret that that's what happens. And it also blocks our true nature and best life. That's kind of the nut. And so I'm here to talk about how we can get ungummed, unstuck, so that we can move more freely with ourselves, our art, our passions, our true nature, so that our true nature can shine. So whether you feel you have clutter or not, I would wager there's probably a little something that's lurking in the way of your tapping your creative power. But first, what I wanted to do, and this is the fun part, is shine a little light on where we might be holding on. So I'm going to move my slide here. Hold on one second. I'm going to just hide. Okay, there we go. Yes, you are now entering a stress-free zone. And my invitation right now is, if you don't have water handy, get yourself a bottle of water, a glass of water. Make sure you have your notebook and a pen, and get really comfy. Because actually, in the work of clearing, safety and comfort and feeling at ease really makes a big difference. So here is what I want to know. Here's where we're going to start. One of the things about clearing the clutter in our lives is it has no sense of humor. So let's inject a little here. So raise your proverbial hand. You don't have to click the raise the hand thing. This is just your internal hand raising. If you are wearing something right now you don't love, doesn't fit, or doesn't feel good. And yes, including underwear. So I know everybody's probably going, what am I wearing? What am I wearing? Do you love it? Does it fit? Does it feel good? All right, raise your proverbial hand if you have something in your home or studio that you have not used or seen in over 10 years. So this is the trunk of our car with all the crap that we found in the attic. Basically, definitely over 10 years that we used it. This was last year, I think, when we had the tech decluttering people in town come. So we took it over. But so that would be a question. It could also be non-technological. It could be just all that stuff you've been squirreling away. Raise the proverbial hand if you have something like this. Maybe you do use your things and love them, but because you don't have a home for them, you can't put them away. So how many of you, just ask your internal self, do I have stuff that's out of place? It could also be tolerations. These are the things that I call them tolerations, or the things you just don't even see anymore. You know, the invisible visibles. This is a picture that I took of my daughter's first home, right, in her last year in college. I thought it was pretty ridiculous, but funny how her doorbell was scotch taped to the thing. Really, all kidding aside, we do have these things like, the buttons that haven't gotten sewed on, or the appointments that we still need to make, This is what I call tolerations. How many of you raise the hand if you're juggling endless to-do lists? Just, all the things that you still want to do. That's just a part of the tolerations that I was talking about. Personal projects, maybe, checkups, upgrades, a life dream, perhaps. How many of you, no matter how hard you try to get your closets or things to look a little like this, end up looking more like this? Actually, that's not me, because I love my closet all neat and tidy, but this is what we're talking about. Shining light, or this. As much as you try so hard to make things all tidy and neat, it ends up being like a disaster. Here's a question. How many of you, maybe that all that we just talked about isn't a problem for you. How many of you have clutter that looks a little bit more like this? And I would wager that if you're human, which you are, you probably got some. I call it the invisible kind of clutter. This is 2 cartoons that I adore. What the hell is that? Oh, just my mind. I just love that picture. And then the other one by Hugh MacLeod, Glob of Chaos that follows me around like a dog. This is kind of what I call the invisible clutter, the energetic side of clutter. And what that means really is the juggling act that you do. A million things at once, the feeling overwhelmed, the harried, the fried, the exhausted, the impatient, the scattered, the feeling stuck. Raise the hand if you feel like you're one of those who spins a lot of noise in your head. Statements like, oh, I should really be doing that project, or you should, or I can't, or I shouldn't. You're worried about someone or something, fear for the future. Anybody? Can't see you, but I'm sure there are a few hands on that one. I know, especially after what an epic year we've had, that this fear for the future could be spilling over into your life. How many of you can relate to this, where you actually are aware that some spaces don't feel all that great? You just notice that you walk in and you have this kind of this amorphous discomfort around furniture, jewelry, or you just don't even know. It's something that just doesn't feel right. You can't explain it, but it just isn't. You don't want to wear it. You don't love it. Or maybe that heavy stickiness. Anybody experience the heavy stickiness that happens when you're moving things around, or clutter clearing, or organizing, or actually getting rid of stuff? Maybe the feeling of, which is a very, for me, very common, is this feeling of being depleted in like a Costco. I really have to go in and out. And my list, I just bam, in and out, because I often come away feeling like I've just been, slugged over the head by just all that stuff. So that could be also the kind of clutter I'm talking about. There's also this no time for yourself. How many can, raise the proverbial hand if this is you? And feel that self-care is something you do when you're sick, or everyone else is already taken care of. So that was fun. That was my little, shining light thing. But here's what I really want to know. How many of you are aware right now of physical sensations? Like your hands, are they hot? Are you noticing them at all? Are you aware of your feet? Are you aware of your feet planted on the ground? Are you aware of just any twinges or eyebrow raise, or maybe a nervous giggle that came up while we were doing that little sequence? Just take a moment to notice those things that kind of come up that we don't even notice at all. So maybe the cage got rattled a little bit, like, oh my God, that's me. She really busted me. That's what I want to know. I want you to know, not me to know so much. How many of you are aware of your breathing right now? Notice, is it shallow? Is it deep? Is it relaxed? Is it revved up? Just take it in. How many of you are aware of the energy in your space right now, the one you're in right now? Wherever it is that you are you aware of how it feels? And how many of you are aware of being aware? That's what I want to know. So, welcome home, y'all, because this is where we're going to be doing some digging, and some really not digging so much as just pulling the veil, the curtain on the stuff that blocks our true nature and our best life. So what I want to do today is wake us up to the invisible side of clutter. You know, most of us can see the physical stuff, but all that physical stuff didn't crawl into the house all by itself. There's an energetic component to it. And what I want to shine light on is that invisible component. I'm going to take you on a journey very, very shortly that will design to identify an area in your home or studio that could use some help. And it may be something that you aren't even aware that could use some help. I'm going to give you simple tools that you can use that apply to anything that are very adaptable to anything that is holding you back, to clear whatever is holding you back. And finally, I want to open up the conversation and have questions at the end. That will be at the end. I won't be answering any questions until then. So if you have any like niggly questions about your technology, definitely shoot Jamila a private note in the chat, and she'll help you out. Okay, so that's basically it. There will be 2 times when I stop this slide deck. The first will be for us to share the experience of that journey that I'm about to take you on, and the second will be at the end when we do the Q&A. So take a nice deep breath in. Are you aware of your breathing now? How's it feel? How about your hands? So get comfy, get a swig of water. Get your notebook and pen. You're going to need that shortly. And I'm about to take you on a little guided tour of your home or your studio, workplace, wherever you would like to take a guided tour. I would recommend home because that's the place you probably spend the most time. And whatever you discover in this tour will absolutely ripple into any other living space that you occupy as well. And that includes your workplaces. Okay. So I'm sorry I can't see you all. I'm just going to assume that we're good, and we're going to move on. And let's get started. Just going to grab my notes here. All right. So there is no better teacher, I believe, than our home. Our living spaces really have a lot to teach us. And I think if we just stopped and paid a little closer attention, we would learn an awful lot about ourselves through these places that we call home. So for the next 10 minutes or so, you're going to be going on a short, uninterrupted tour of your home or studio space. This is purely a data gathering mission to help you identify the first area that needs your attention and some simple actionable steps you can take every day over the next week. Okay? So you don't have to do anything. You don't even have to be in the studio or your home for this to work. You could be, you know, sheltering in place somewhere else, and you really want to focus on home. Just that works as well. You don't need to do anything. Your job is simply to notice the thoughts, the feelings, the judgments, the emotions, anything that comes up. Again, without managing it, fixing it, doing anything to mitigate it. And be open, because you may think you know where we're going to end up. And I've done this meditation so many times, and people are always surprised by where they end up. So just allow yourself to be surprised. Allow yourself to be taken somewhere, and really bring beginner's mind to this experience. You know, you're going in like a curious child, like, oh, what am I going to discover? So just be the observer, the witness of this experience. So before we start, just make sure your devices are turned off. Not this one, obviously, but you know, anything that might interrupt you. Make sure you're in a place where you can close the door if you can. That would be great. If you're in a car, please stop the car. And have on hand, as I said before, notebook and a pen. And after this is over, I'm going to give you about maybe 10 minutes to do some reflecting in your notebook, in your journal, and then we'll open it up and see what people have to say about it. So take your time, enjoy the sights and smells and tastes even of your home or studio. So let's get started. So if your legs are crossed, just uncross them. Just try to open up all the channels, and take a nice easy breath in and a slow emptying breath out. And just feel the breath, the energy course right through your body, down through your feet, into the floor. Just feel yourself getting very grounded. Breathe in again, slow, easy breath in, emptying breath out. And when you feel comfortable, if your eyes are not closed, you can close them. And just breathe out all thought and tension, and breathe in pure awareness and possibility. Remember, there is nothing for you to do right now. Just simply allow whatever arises, and just feel yourself growing more relaxed and quiet and still. Notice your hands. Are they hot? Are they cold? Are they prickly? Are they tingly? How about your breathing? Is it shallow? Is it full and relaxed? And just notice and allow any sensations, apprehensions, tensions, whatever is going on for you in this moment. Bring your awareness to the invisible part of you that radiates out from your physical body, which some might call the personal energy field. It's like an invisible membrane, or a second skin, if you will, that radiates out from you. It's bigger than the aura and is infinitely expandable. Even if you don't believe in such a thing or can't imagine an extended part of you, just pretend it's there. You can call it your spacious self. Think of it as part of you that is more unplugged and more attuned and aware and radiant. Infinitely wise. And with each out breath, feel the spacious energy field expanding outwards, getting bigger, less attached, becoming more of a witnessing presence, becoming more curious. I wonder what my home has to tell me. When you feel super relaxed, imagine your most expanded self standing at the front entrance of your home or studio or whatever living space you'd like to tour. Whichever doorway you use the most. Notice what it feels like here, just before stepping over the threshold. Now take a step inside. What is the first thing that catches your attention? Perhaps it's an object or a smell or the way the door opens or squeaks. Maybe it's a creak in the floor. Just take your time to notice as you begin to wander like an explorer in your home, in this space. You don't need to go anywhere in particular. Just allow yourself to be led. Just go where the spirit moves you, using all your senses to gather information. Again, notice your breathing. Is it more full or shallow than it was before? And just move, float, if you like, through each space easily and effortlessly. You can float right through walls if you want. You can open doors if you need to. Peek in closets. Maybe there's an object that gets your attention. Maybe there's something you hadn't noticed before. And just be curious with all of your senses, bringing all of your senses, taste, touch, seeing, smelling, intuiting. Just tune in. Curious, be curious. I wonder what's under here. Oh, that's a curious thing. What is that? When you feel you've had enough time poking around, allow yourself to be guided to one area or object. It could be an issue as well in your living space. An area, object, or issue that might register as more contracted or stuck or tight or tentative. You'll know by how it feels in your body, in your breath. Just trust your fully expanded self to know exactly where to go. To be drawn to just the perfect area or thing. Again, notice your breathing. Notice if the space or thing pulls you in even more, or repels you. Notice if there's an odor or a color or a sound, something you hadn't noticed before. Breathing, how's your breathing? Notice if it contracts as well, or opens, expands. Does the space or object feel cold or hot to you? Is it prickly or jangly or heavy or light? Notice your energy level. Notice any feelings or emotions you might have or thoughts. And if you like, you can place your hand on any part of the body that might be feeling more tight or contracted or painful than usual. Or if your breathing has gotten shallow, you could just put your hand on your chest. The space, object, or issue is calling your attention for a reason and wants to have a chat. It has some information to share with you. It wants to tell you something. Whether you've identified a particular area or object or not, you'll notice that there's a chair awaiting you, facing this area or thing. Have a seat and take a few moments to just hang out in this place. Remember, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to fix anything or change anything. Your job right now is to listen unconditionally, to bear witness, to allow. The space wants to tell you 3 things. And they'll be prompted by 3 open-ended statements that you'll be filling in. Just allow the answers to bubble up as you listen to each one. I'll repeat them twice. So this is your home or studio space talking right now. What I find most frustrating about this space or object is, about being this space or object is. What I find most frustrating about being this space or object is. What I really need right now is. What I really need right now is. The third thing, one way you can support me this week is. One way you can support me this week is. Remember, this is your space or the object speaking. You're listening. Just be open to receiving whatever information comes up, even if it doesn't make any sense. When the space or object feels complete and it's sharing, you can thank it for being honest with you and for being the great teacher that it is. And just acknowledge yourself for listening. And make a pledge to tend and support the space or thing over the following week to the best of your ability. And just be specific with what you're offering to do, But don't get too bogged down in the details. One thing is enough. Go with your first impulse. You can change your mind. You don't have to get it right or perfect. Just one thing as a first step. You can now begin the process of saying goodbye in the space or object and the rest of your home or apartment or studio, and also the building that it might be in. And as you make your way back slowly to the doorway where you first entered, do you notice any changes in how you feel now than when you first began your exploration? Does your home feel differently? And as you say goodbye for now, you may wish to bless your space and surround her with love and golden light, whatever feels good. When you feel complete, you can step back over the threshold. You can take a nice long breath in and release all thoughts and feelings and bring your awareness back to your expanded self, sitting in the chair you're in now. You can wiggle your fingers and your toes, and when I ring the bell, you can open your eyes. Okay, everyone. This is where you'll need your notebook and your pen. And there are some questions here on the screen. You probably see them. They're called the tour reflections, reflections on the tour of your home or studio space. So this is your time. I'm going to give you about 10 minutes to just reflect on where you ended up. Like, were you surprised to land there? And what did it feel like specifically? So I'm going with feelings here, sensations. The second question is, what will you do to support this space? What did you promise? What was your pledge? And this would be, the invitation would be for every day for a week. Just 1 week is enough for now. And the third question is, how is this space a reflection of you? Or a thing. It could have been an object as well. How is this object a reflection of you? Okay, so I'm going to start the clock here. And I'm going to leave these questions up so you can see them. And enjoy. Have a swig of water too. That'll help bring you back to the center. So we're going to wrap it up in about 2 minutes. So start bringing it to a close. You'll have time after this is all over to continue and just start to bring it to a close. Okay. Welcome back, everybody. So I am going to close the screen share. But before I do, I just want to show you this slide. Whenever you see this, it's going to be your little indicator prompt of like, oh, how's my breathing now? How am I feeling now? Okay. So, and it could be the same or different. We're just noticing things here. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the screen share. Let's see if I know how to do that. There. Okay. Sorry. I know I was taught how to do this. I tell you, I've done a lot of Zoom calls, but I've never done one with this.
I can try to get it to stop for you if you want, Stephanie.
Oh, I stop it. Got it. I saw it.
There you go.
Obvious. Oh my God, it's so great to see you guys. Oh, you all look so beautiful. So I want to take just some time for anybody who wants to share about that experience. Just anything that came up for you, maybe the surprise. Often it surprises people. Maybe there weren't any surprises, but I'd love to hear a few of you just share what that was like. Certainly the prompts are there to just get you thinking about your space. You know, where did you end up? Were you surprised? How are you going to support this space? And how is it a reflection of you? You know, really, our homes are a reflection of us. And they have so much to show us and teach us. So I'd just be curious to know what came up. So Jamila's gonna just process or unlock, or I don't know, do what you do, Jamila, with
Right.
helping folks speak up if they need it.
I see one with a hand raised. So Marlene, I'm going to ask to unmute you. And feel free to share when you see you're unmuted.
Hi, Stephanie. Hi, thank you for that. It's funny because, you know, it's things that I felt like I already knew, but going through that process just brought it so much clearer and brought in the feelings of it. And I really enjoyed having the space talk to me instead of just going from my mental, you know, looking at it, right? So what's fascinating is I'm looking around, this is my office space, and part of it looks just all put together and everything's fine. And then there's like papers galore and things that don't belong in here. And I don't have the shelving that I need for some of the things. And it was like, Oh my gosh, there's so much here and there's great stuff here, but it's getting restricted and blocked and covered up and hidden and lost. Um, and there's pieces that need to be showcased that I want to see all the time that I can't see because of all the stuff that's all over my desk. And just what a sense of like calm and joy it would bring me to be able to see those things neatly put where they belong and or showcased if needed or just stored. And so and I realized that that's such a reflection of my inner self a lot of the time. That my brain and how I operate, that there's sort of the me that people see that looks all put together, and then there's all the crazy messiness going on that needs to be sorted through and dealt with. And I got this strong sense that that this space and I can work together to open up my creativity more and allow me to really express the way I want to by having these things expressed. So anyway, it's just, I feel now inspired and motivated to actually sort through the things that I've been putting off and figure out what doesn't belong and get places to put everything. So thank you.
I'm so glad, Marlene. I'm so glad. And I'll be giving you some tools after this part to help you with that. So you can stay on track.
Yeah.
What happens when we get overwhelmed is we fall off the wagon, or we just lose, we lose our way. And so you'll be getting some tools for how to stay on the path to what you really want. So your space looks beautiful to me, what I can see. So
yeah, that's the part you can see.
I know what you're talking about. I mean, I come into this business like, absolutely, I have a lot of personal stories, and I, like you, everything looks pristine, but what's squirreled underneath all that is really the work for me, and it continues to be. I'm just a continual student of this work, and and I think just by tuning into where the stuck feeling, the actual. That's why sensation is so important, and we'll be getting into that as well. Just so key. It is your guideline. It's your guidepost. It's going to give you the way out, the way through. So yeah. Well, anyway, thank you for sharing. And I know you're going to do great. I know it's going to be awesome. So, anyone else want to share? I see Barbara.
We actually have 1, 2, 3. We have a couple of hands raised here. So
wonderful. All right.
All right. So the next one I'm going to go to is Barbara. I'm asking to unmute Barbara.
Okay, that was so cool. I do a lot of meditation, and that was really cool. First of all, my house thanks you because it feels acknowledged now.
Oh.
And it wanted me to know that the fireplace in our living room is the heart of the house, and I need to work more with that, but that was not the issue for today. I went to our garage, which is kind of a disaster. It's like what would have been a 3rd car garage. It's cut in half. Part of it is an enclosed storage area. Part of it is just garage. And right now that's where we keep all our extra COVID stuff. It's piled up with cardboard right now, because we're living that way. And it's already was pretty full before the pandemic started. But I went in there and I knew it didn't feel good. It felt tight and constricted, no movement. It wanted to breathe. And so cool was when I asked it, what was, how it related to me. And it said, well, I want to be very prepared for anything in the future, but I also need to honor the empty spaces, the pauses, in the flow, in the ebb and flow. And I've been working a lot with that personally in my creative work. But then I got the sense that I needed to go back and talk to the empty space in that garage, because it wasn't about the stuff. It was about the empty space. That's where I really wanted to have a chat. And I could feel how that is the primary resident of the garage is the empty space. And it's full of a lot of negative emotions, guilt that I've let it get crowded again. All that kind of stuff that's gotten piled in there along with the cardboard, and just thoughts like, why the heck can't I keep this clean? I'm not a messy person, but it was really very cool. And I really got the idea that there's like a whole paradigm shift for me to make about really going to the space first. The stuff is secondary, because if the space is good, I'll have whatever I need. It'll show up for me, whether it's I currently have it in my garage or not. But the space, it's almost like it's it sounds really woo-woo, but it felt like a portal, you know, between form and non-form, and working with that. And I mean, I can see going through my whole house now and talking to spaces. This is going to be so much fun.
It's the best. Oh my God. I'm getting goosebumps just hearing
Oh, I am too. I'm kind of like, oh, jittery now. But that's my big aha, is really this space first, stuff second.
You got it, baby. And I'll
Yeah.
be talking about space, the
Oh,
importance
good.
of empty space. You got it. You're already ahead of
Oh.
the game. Yeah.
My
The
garage is already
paradigm
happier.
shift. No. You're already on track. That's exactly where we're going to be going with this.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. And your space does thank you. I can see it breathing. I can feel it breathing already.
Yeah.
The empty space. Awesome. Thank you, Barbara. So who's next, Jamila? Anybody who queued up? I don't know if there's like a line or how this.
Yeah, yes, we have a big line, so
Oh,
get to everyone before our time is up here. But I'm going to go to Luke, if that's okay, so we can have some masculine presence.
yeah, baby.
Hey there.
Luke. Hi, Luke.
Hi there. I really enjoyed this exercise. It went someplace so unexpected that was so fruitful, and I'm pretty hyped to do more of it after, because I feel like there's so many opportunities right in front of me to learn something. So I have two main areas of clutter in my house, and so I kind of expected to end up at one of those, and I didn't. I ended up in front of my table that I use as a music studio, and the object was my drum computer. It's like you can write songs on it, melody and drums. And it's a little dusty. I haven't used it much in the last year, and I haven't used it since my mind went back to the last time I used it for a large project. And I used to it was my creative outlet, no pressure, no stakes, low stakes, just have fun there. And then I used it to make a soundtrack for a film. And after the film was completed, the director of it kind of made some unhealthy decisions, and then kind of abandoned some of the people in our friend group who were the most kind of spiritually supportive. And I think, I believe it was related to feeling shame and to not feeling, and it was a moment where I really had to let go of what had been a formerly really strong friendship. And, so the last time I used it, it was like 70-hour weeks. The director and I sitting together, writing it and figuring it out. And I haven't had I haven't recalled that experience much. And I realized like that's like I've been kind of avoiding processing some of that.
Yeah, I know. And it's like that cartoon of the chaos. It's just gonna, if there's something that hasn't been loved or healed in a space, it's just gonna either stick around or grow, and other people will bump into it. It's kind of this thing. It actually has a presence, this energy. And the fact that you were able to come into your space and have a conversation with it, connect with it, is step one right there.
There was another question you said earlier that wasn't part of the writing, like, what do you really want? And what I really wanted in relation to that object was to feel safe, to be able to let go of everything else and then spend some time with it. So the way I'm going to support that for a week is every day. I have some accounting things unrelated for my business that are the big dread things. So like spend an hour on that, make progress with it. And then having met my responsibilities, focus on just letting go and enjoying that space for a while.
Yeah. So it would be for you just going and hanging out in that space, or what would you do in particular? Like, do you have a
creating some space so that I don't need to worry about responsibilities and I can be free and playful, and then just explore, because it's a very creative, fluid space to play with sound.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
I love it. Thank you, Luke. Thank you so much. Yeah. Woo, I can hear the music. Next, who would
All
like
right,
to go?
let's see. We are going to go to Regina.
Regina,
Hello,
hello.
how are you?
Good.
So I was really surprised where I ended up. And I'm still a little bit, I'm laughing about it a little bit because you said in the beginning something about clutter not having a sense of humor, but my guides generally have a really good sense of humor, so made me laugh a little bit. So I ended up at a drawer in my desk, which is my creative space and also my work space for my business, with the drawer that I hold all of these books that are, this is for a PMP, a project management course that I took. And the message that I got is they're heavy, they're expensive, and they're keeping you stuck. And the reason is I recently, over the last couple of years, I've been going through a lot of transitions in my career and energetically have been moving in one direction, that's being an entrepreneur, building my own business, having this merge between creativity and spirituality and, you know, what I do and what I've been doing, and leaving the corporate world. Yet for a lot of that time, I was still in the corporate world, chugging ahead, trying to make progress, trying to, you know, find something there. So right before I left, I took this PMP course, and then everything stopped. And I was kind of forcefully pushed into a place where I had already started to go with my own business, but then embraced it fully and have in my headspace, have been very excited about it, moving forward, but yet also frustrated because I feel like there's something that is still stuck and getting in the way. And I realized it's all these books. I don't have space in my office, and it's not just the books, it's other stuff, but I haven't honored the release of that former cycle. And so, and to do that, my commitment that I made was to go through this space, and even just spending 20 minutes, because it does get a little bit overwhelming, but spending, you know, 20 minutes a day, honoring the things that all of this stuff brought me, and the progress and the lessons that it brought me, and then releasing it with an intention that it move forward and create something else beautiful. And that way I have physical, mental, and emotional space to allow what's ready to come in.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Brava. Yes. Yes. And yeah, they are friggin' honking big books. Heavy.
This is just one,
Shoot.
right?
They're exhausting. I just
Right.
delivered one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Regina, I'm all for it. Really.
Thank you.
Brava. And just so you all know, as I said before, I am a student of this where I keep finding stuff. I really do. It just, there's no end to this thing. It just gets better. That's the cool thing about this work, is there's no end. There's no there. It's just, if it gets better and you get lighter, and just, it's just an amazing journey. So once those books are gone, you'll bump up to the next thing, and then the next and the next, and you'll be lightening your load really from the inside out. Really from the inside out. That's how it works. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, who would like to go? I'm gonna just keep an eye on the clock because I don't want to run over too much.
Yeah,
But
we're
we
still
still have
doing pretty
time.
good.
We
We
have time.
do. All right. So
I'd like to give everyone a chance, but I might
Yeah.
cut us off and then push you to the end, because I'll have time. We'll have time at the end. I want to make
All right.
time for that.
Okay. So do you want to take one more for now, or?
Yeah, let's go for one more.
All right, we are going to go to Jen.
Okay. Hi, Jen.
Oh, she looks like she's unmuting. There she is.
Hi, Stephanie. It's so nice to see you.
Oh, it's good to see you too.
Yeah, I have a few of your books, which it's so funny because I've read a little bit of a couple of them. So I haven't gotten through all of them, but that just really says a lot about me and my space. And so my main space that I'm having trouble with is my bedroom. It's overcluttered. And I've noticed I get very overwhelmed and I shut down.
Mm.
And I also have trouble letting things go. That's another thing I have difficulty with. But when we did the tour, I was taken here, but I was taken to one object. I was taken to, and I don't know if that's just, you know, in my subconscious on what I've read in your book or what, but I was taken to my art cart, which is right near my desk here. And it's got so much stuff on it that isn't really useful. It's just a bunch of cluttered junk on there. And you know, I've been wanting to create some art, and I'm not set up to do it. And so I thought about, you know, how this well, I'll say the way it made me feel when I came to the art cart was actually I wrote down excited, actually. Excited and I don't know where the other word went, but maybe kind of a relaxed feeling, because there's a lot I can do in here and I get overwhelmed, but it just took me to this one thing.
Mhm.
And this particular one thing is something that I'm excited about. It's, you know, it's fun. It's art. So it's art supplies and paintbrushes and paints, and it's something that I would really have fun organizing and getting together, because then it would open up a space for me to be able to create something and have some fun.
Mhm.
And so I just thought about the way that I have a lot of stuff on here that's not useful, and how it's kind of on top of, if you will, and smothering me, in the sense that the true self, or the creativity, or who I want to be, or what I want to do in life, doesn't have an opportunity to breathe
Yeah.
and come out,
Yeah.
because it's like loaded up with all of this clutter that's not useful. It's just not useful stuff for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, and how do you notice how you're feeling right this second?
I feel a little tense talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this is the thing. So the moment you start to notice how you feel is the moment that it starts to clear. And I'm just going to say this several times if I can remember, but we cannot clear for good without being in the present moment.
So I guess the thing that I have a hard time with
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
that is, obviously it's very difficult to be in that space where it's such an uncomfortable feeling. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
I feel so shut down.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
just feel
I know.
overwhelmed and shut
I know.
down.
I know. So the steps I'm going to walk you through are going to help you ease into it. So you do not, you know, go into stress, sort of the red zone of stress and overwhelm, because that's the problem, is we just go into, oh my God, you know, you, me, we, all humans who go into fight or flight are going to experience some of that.
That's
And
it.
that isn't going to help.
Yeah.
So it's the steps I'm going to walk you through is perfect that you're, you know, we're going to close this segment with you, because it absolutely, we need to take baby steps, slow drip our way to creating these openings that we want in our life. So we can't go to the, you know, the big honking pile in the attic. We've got to go with the tiny little drawer and have that be the project for the week, because that just, and bringing all of the steps that I'm going to show you to that small thing starts to work on you again from the inside out. So the practice is the same no matter what you work with. So if you can let go of attachment to outcome and just kind of go into present moment, how am I feeling right this second? You're already well on your way to not only calming the nervous system, but creating those openings and clearing that invisible stuckness, that invisible clutter that is kind of gumming up the works. So yeah.
Can I just ask one other quick question? The question I have is, if you're in a stressful part in your life, you know, if you're in a you know, heightened stress time in your
Yep.
life period, you know, and because I feel that sense of overwhelm and shutdown when I try and tackle this, is it possible to do this kind of thing and move through this in the midst of a very stressful, difficult time in your life?
That's the question. And that's what we're going to be answering in the next hour. So perfect.
Perfect.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
No, that's the thing. That's the thing. How can we do this difficult work when things are really hard in our lives, and move through these piles and mountains and stick patterns? So I'm going to guide you.
Thank you.
I'm going to give you my secret sauce.
Awesome.
The steps that it took me 20 years to come to. So yeah. So I think we'll stop there, Jamila, and I'm going to share. So if you could all mute yourselves again, I'm going to do the screen share thing again. Let's see here. Hopefully you all can see my visuals, because they do help. They will help with understanding what I'm going to be talking about. And let me just do something here. Okay, so again, this is just back to the beginning. How are you feeling now? Notice in particular as you were hearing other people speaking, like for example, I started to notice that my mouth was going dry as I'm like processing what you all are processing. We're not separate from each other. So some people are doing conscious clearing and you're doing conscious clearing. Guess what? You're going to start to feel other people's stuff. And not to like scare you or anything, but again, if you can just bring yourself back to present moment. Like right now, my hands are kind of clammy. My breathing is calm, but my mouth is super dry. And to me, that's a dead giveaway that I'm doing some clearing. I mean, that is to me, it's like, oh, this is clearing. This is space clearing. Let me get some water. So if you start to notice yourself, getting congested, like, oh my God, you're not sick, but you feel congested. You feel like your throat is getting, dry, you're thirsty, your feet hurt more, and you're going to know your own inner code. Your own body is going to reveal to you the signs, the signposts to look for. And you go, oh, that's clearing. That's not a bad thing. That's actually a really good thing. So you're going to start to decode your own processing. This is it. This is the processing device for clutter clearing. So okay. So you guys ready for my mind bender? I'm going to take it as a yes. It's not about the stress, and it's not about the stuff. It's not about the piles. It's not about the overwhelm. It's not about the perfect or desired outcome. It's how we relate to these things. It's the space in between. It was Regina saying, it's like that empty space. It's that space in between where all the goodies are. This is where the actual real clearing happens, and the real healing and the real lasting change. So it's in that in-between place. The thing about clearing is that we're so desirous of an outcome that we get stuck on that, or we're so stuck in our stuff that we can't move from it. So the real work, the real deep work, and sometimes it's god awful, is to be as present as you possibly can. So let me just make sure I get my notes here, because I don't want to miss anything here. The good news is, here's the good news, is that our clutter, whether it's physical, mental, or emotional, shows us the places where we have yet to love and heal. So as you're loving and healing them from in here, the stuff out there starts to sort itself out, almost like magic. You'll notice yourself purging without having even, without just suddenly things are just flying out the door, because you you've found that place within where you've been doing the work. That's the work. It's not very sexy work. It's not very visible work. It can be very uncomfortable work. But if you know that's what's going on, you're going to be just fine. So the question, how do we get unstuck? How do we release the clutter? How do we reduce the stress? How do we reclaim our lives? And that is where we need a container, okay? The container that helps us feel safe and keeps us in the present now, because what happens is we just keep floating away. Discomfort, red zone, red light. You want to go, this is fight or flight. You want to go crawl into a hole as fast as you can, or you want to fight it. And so what I'm about to roll out here are 5 steps that can help you stay there. And that's this container. It's so key, and it's so counterintuitive. That's the other thing. It is a paradigm shift in clearing. It isn't about the stuff out there. It's about how you relate to the stuff out there. So this method, which has really taken me 20 years of teaching and writing and doing my own inner work, my own just discoveries, my own sort of, bouncing into stuff and noticing my own holding patterns, and is really simple on purpose, because we need it to be simple on purpose. It's called the Spacious way. And it comprises 5 steps that conveniently all start with a letter S. And what's great about it is that it's infinitely adaptable to anything that is causing you pain. That could be physical clutter. It could be a desire to achieve something, a personal goal or a dream. You can adopt it to anything. It could be just, I feel like crap right now. And you just drop into those 5 steps. And over time, you'll start to notice how each step becomes like a flow. So I'm going to present them one at a time, but over time, they just become one seamless flow. So 5 steps. The first step is to slow down. It speaks for itself. How do we slow down? Well, pretty simple. You just stop what you're doing and breathe and close your eyes and get quiet. Whatever works to help you slow down. And that might, for those who are like about speed, might rattle your cage. So this could actually be your the place where you're going to bump up against in your own life. It's like, oh my God, I really don't want to slow down because I don't want to have to feel. Yep. That's what is leading to is coming into present moment and feeling the feelings. So just stop. If there's something that's jangling you, just consciously, this is all about being conscious and aware. Do whatever works to slow it down. Deep breaths, sitting, mantra. Some people have a meditation, a mantra, something that can help you just slow down. And once you start to feel that centeredness, you then reach for the second step, which is to simplify. When I first started my work, my whole focus was about simplifying, and I realized there's a lot more to this work than just simplifying. And this step reduces, so if slowing down reduces the speed, simplifying reduces the noise. So how can you simplify without reducing the speed? You've got to have the first slowing down to get to the second simplifying. So by the way, these steps go in order on purpose. They're not just whatever works for you. They all go together and they all work in sort of that seamless flow. So here's one way to play with simplifying. Ask yourself, what is one thing? So you're stuck on something, you hit the garage, the music isn't flowing, whatever it might be. You can slow down and then ask yourself, what is one thing I can do to simplify the situation and help shift the energy. And your body and your mind is going to be able, if you can have slowed down enough to ask that question, you will get an answer, and just wait for it. Wait for the answer. You know, during this whole presidential thing, you know, for me, simplifying was turning off the TV. I mean, that was a way that I could simplify. The bad news, I could feel it. I could feel it being kind of infecting me, like the virus. So I would, you know, I wanted information, I wanted news, but the moment I started to feel like, ugh, you know, like that thing in my throat, like, ugh, that was the thing that I needed to do, turn off the TV. So for some of you, simplifying could simply be going back to step one, which is slowing down. That could be an act of simplifying. But there's another way. I mean, there's not a but. There are many ways to simplify. One of the things I write about a lot is a thing called the rule of one. So one way to simplify what you want, the fight or flight is just going to be going crazy unless you dial it down. So you know, like I said before, you don't want to be going after the entire, you know, paints, you know, it's like, or the studio. You want to go for the one little drawer that's right squirreled behind, you know, the sink, that little drawer, the thing that you were drawn to in this meditation, and adopt the rule of one. Pick one thing, one drawer, one pile, 1 minute, make it one. Whatever it is that will help you reduce the stress level. And once you start to, like, the stress level starts coming down, you can increase it by one. So let's say you have a ton of emails. You just delete one, or take 1 minute to delete a bunch, you know, whatever it is. The point is you want to reduce the task and repeat it. So this is key, reduce and repeat. I call it the R and R approach to simplifying. You know, it could be making the bed challenges you, choose that as your task. One bed every day, and just make it with all the awareness and love and intention as you can. And one of the benefits, you know, to doing it, especially if you can bring purposefulness and fluidity and repetition, it starts to create this flow in your body. It starts to actually feel really good. And every time you're bumping up against your own resistance, you'll know just by how your body feels. But just bring as much purposefulness and fluidity and repetition. One way I know that brings that, if you're feeling stuck, just grab a broom or buy yourself a nice broom and sweep. That, if you're just stuck on, oh gosh, how do I simplify the situation? Pull out your broom, reach for your broom, and just mindfully sweep for 1 minute. It will start to move the stuck energy. And if you're doing it purposefully, it will start to anchor the intentions. You can sweep with, you know, a particular goal in mind. You know, like I want to get through this pile, or I want to, you know, talk to my difficult boss, but I'm just so stuck on it and I'm too afraid. Just pull the broom out, or whatever it is that quiets your mind. And I find that just the sweeping is very calming to the nervous system. But other things for me in particular, putting things away, I adore by how it feels. It's like I love coming down, having my my coffee's being made. I just love emptying the dishwasher and putting the plates away. That is fluid, it's deliberate, it feels good. It's just like I've done it so every single day for years that I can't imagine not doing it. So what you'll want, and you're going to start to be drawn to adopting these simple daily practices that will start to grow and ripple out into other practices that are not so easy. Okay, so pick simple. And when you feel complete with the simplifying, so that's step 2. Oh, this is a nice quote from from Henry David Thoreau, as they say in Concord, which is where I'm calling you all from. If you simplify your life, the laws of the universe will be simpler. It's a fact, it's a law. So just remember that. So when you feel like you've already started to simplify while you're doing it, your task, that's when you bring in or fold in sensing. We talked about a bit about sensing. What does that mean? It means to bring all of your senses to bear. So smell, taste, touch, seeing, hearing, and your sixth sense of intuition. So you're really tapping into this amazing, human body that we have. You know, it is our best tool for sniffing out something that doesn't feel good, that isn't for us, that's a scam. You could smell a scam, you know, sniff things out using your senses, and you'll start to notice which of your senses you tend to lead with more. I have a pretty strong sense of smell. I can smell people smoking in cars with the windows roll out. I mean, I just can smell out this stuff. And it can be a friend, all these tools that you have already built in. So with sensing, so if slowing down reduces the speed and simplifying reduces the noise, sensing increases the awareness. So at the same time, you're increasing your sense of awareness. So how can you bring more awareness to the senses? Ask yourself, how is this problem or issue making me feel? Just notice how you're feeling. Again, go back to the breath. Your hands, are they hot, cold, prickly, tingly? Get specific, get physical. The physicality will start to grow into the other stuff, you know, the mental and the emotional. How's your breathing? That's why I go into all that, you know, these reminders of how the breathing is. Notice the emotional weather. You know, for example, it gets complicated, doesn't it? Because our feelings can actually really be in a tangle. But if you can start to break it down into, oh my God, I'm feeling kind of congested here. Oh my God, I'm just feeling like I want to bolt. My breathing has gotten shallow. You know, you don't have to know what's going on, just feel it. Okay? You don't have to try to decode it. You don't need to analyze it. Just be in the present now with how you feel. You're asking, how's the situation making me feel? And for those of you who are not used to feeling, this could be your biggest stretch. And this is good because you're going to need it. You need to get better at this. It really does. It is the pathway. All right. So as you're continuing to tune into how the problem or issue is making you feel, that's when you fold in. At the same time as you're feeling, you fold in step 4, which is surrendering. And what do I mean by that? So this is like sensing, which is you're increasing awareness. With surrendering, you're increasing awareness with a level of detachment. So you're actually feeling at the same time. You're feeling and being detached at the same time. So how does that work? Practice, practice, practice. And that's what makes all these sort of really painful sensations bearable, because you're not identifying with them. You're not plugging into them. You're not making them yours. You're just seeing them more as just emotional, what I call the weather, emotional weather. You know, we don't judge rain or snow or, you know, it's like, why is it snowing or why is it raining? You're not analyzing why it's happening. You're just allowing it to happen. So if you can just not argue with reality, as Byron Katie says, you know, that is surrendering. So feel the feelings that are coming up, but take that step back at the same time. And it means you're really compassionate. Compassion is key. But by doing both kind of simultaneously, one flowing into the other, you're actually building your heart muscle to be bigger than the small thing that got you gummed up or caused you pain or hurt or whatever. So just continue to feel, but become more, what I like to say, a witness of it. So here's one way to play with surrendering. Ask yourself, what is this problem or situation showing me, teaching me, telling me? That's a way to get that sort of detachment, that sense of, this is really just the weather. And what is it teaching me? What is this feeling plugged up teaching me? Like, the books that feel really heavy, well, they're teaching me that maybe I don't want to carry around so much weight, right? So I can surrender to, I guess it's time to move these. So with surrendering, enter into surrender with curiosity. Like, ask the question, what is it teaching me? This is like, be the explorer. It's like what we did in the meditation. I wonder what this is, what it's showing me. Remember that with surrendering, you're being the observer of the weather, not the weather. Two separate things. Be bigger than the weather. That's the practice. Again, it's all a practice. Notice how witnessing the weather shifts it. This is where the magic in this work, it's really magic. You just start to feel it and witness it at the same time. And guess what happens? It's like it starts to evaporate. It's very cool, very cool. And P.S., surrender does not mean giving up. I know it's people could argue, it's like, oh, I'm giving up. No, you're not. You're actually stepping up. You're stepping up your game by taking that step back. So that's what it means to surrender. So once you've started to kind of slow down and simplify, you've got you're sensing, you're tuning into your senses, but in a more detached, compassionate way. What happens next? That you fold in your last S, which is self-care. And this step is brought to you by the previous 4 steps. I find that self-care isn't going to work. It's not going to make a dent without your having brought in the other 4. It's like they're baked in to self-care. And so this is a step where you give yourself permission. The step where you ask for what you need, set clear boundaries, and you can ask yourself, one way to play with self-care is to ask yourself, what is one thing I can do right now to feel calmer, more centered, nourished, spacious? It might lead you right back to step 1, which is to slow down. You start the whole cycle all over again. It may be something else. As I see it, there are many ways to express, to cultivate self-care. I'm going to talk about 2 of them. The kind that we all kind of can relate to is the feel-good one. It's like, who doesn't want a good massage and, have a cup of tea by the window? But damn it, we can't really enjoy it if we haven't slowed down and simplified and done the other things. So, and sensing, my God, you bring in sensing to your experience of self-care and it totally elevates it. But there's a second type, so that's, that's this, the feel-good side of self-care. But there's also the not optional side of self-care. I love this. This is my friend's, the sign that my friend has on her door to her bedroom. It's the Queen is not accepting an audience today. So this is the radical form of self-love, which means setting clear boundaries, saying no when you mean no. It means messing up and failing. It means allowing yourself to disappoint, to be disappointed, and it may knock you back down to sensing because it's like, I don't like how this feels. But that is what self-care is. They're both key. The feel good and the not optional. So, and if you noticed, in the tour of the home, we have applied all 5 of these steps. So what we did was you slow down by closing your eyes. You simplified by zeroing in on one area, trying to identify one area. You sensed by bringing in increased awareness to the area, object, or how it made you feel. You surrendered when you listened to the space talk to you and let you know what it needs from you. And you cultivated self-care by really just doing this practice, by taking the time to tend to your home, to tend to your, stress and stuff. So that you're already doing the self-care part. So in the end, and I'm going to close soon and open it up to questions. It's a journey. This is a journey. This journey of the 5 S's, the spacious way, what I call the spacious way, is a journey that doesn't always add up or make sense or go in a straight line. If you could just accept that it's just not linear, you'll do a whole lot better. So again, the 5 S's, here they are, and you just start playing. They all kind of work together as a team. Now, what's going to make these 5 really congeal for you and work for you are 2 things. This is the secret sauce. Okay. The secret sauce really gets these things working, optimally. They're your superpowers. Number 1, consistency. Consistency in my world means daily. Not on weekends, not when you feel like it, not when you can cram it in. It's every day, small little baby steps, slow drip, slow drip, slow drip, slow drip. My other way of describing the work that I teach is called the slow drip approach to clearing, because that's what you're doing. You are adopting simple practices that's fluid, that create more flow in your life. And the second thing is what we've been doing a little bit today, is awareness. Bringing awareness to the experience. And so when you can bring all of your awareness to the 5 S's, slowing down, simplifying, sensing, surrendering, self-care, with awareness, you've just raised the game. It's a game changer. And it'll help you to stay on track, because guess what? When you start losing it or losing your resolve or you forget, guess what you do? You just go right back to step 1. Slow down and start all over again. So it is a practice. And here's the deal. Awareness really is a game changer. It changes everything. Just bring awareness to whatever it is that you're doing. All right, so I would like to, let's see, we've got time, open up the floor for questions. And then I want to close with some goodies. I have a goodie. I know I had asked people to bring a purse, a wallet. I thought maybe we'd have more time. I thought, well, geez, if we run, if there's nothing, to do, I'm going to have them do a little exercise, but I'm going to have you do it after this is over at some point, because it's really good. But I want to introduce it after you've all had a chance at least to either share something or ask a question. So I think what we'll do, Jamila, is do like a 10-minute, anybody who wants to, I'm going to stop share here now that I know how. That. And then invite people to ask questions, or if you had, like, you were just dying to say something before, to speak up.
I was going to say, we have a couple that have had their hands raised, and I also
Yay! All right,
in chat. So
you get to go first. Cool.
all right. So did you want the ones with their hands raised first, or did you want the question?
The ones raised first. Yeah.
Okay, so we are going to go to Antoinette. I'm going to unmute you, my dear.
Hi there. I'm just getting my video on too.
So first of all, thank you, Stephanie. And it's great to actually sort of be in your presence. I have followed you for probably 15, 18 years and your work. And I actually do clutter clearing because of learning from you. And I still started crying when I went through the tour of the house because, like you said, things always change. And I came up to the dishes that I always leave on my kitchen counter until I run out of spoons or bowls or something. And they told me that I need love and attention. And I'm grateful.
Yeah.
And I can only say that I've practiced a lot of what you're teaching, and thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for saying that, Antoinette. Enjoy. Keep going.
I do. I love it.
Yeah. Great. Thanks.
Thank you.
And we're going to go next to Sheila.
Sheila, hi.
Hi, Stephanie. I was so surprised by where I went in the exercise that we did. I went to my garage, getting out of my car, and my garage is actually very neat. However, I have some boxes on the floor, and what I realized were they were blocking my way to come into the house. And I realized that I didn't feel welcome. I felt that my path was blocked. And I just was totally surprised by that, because there are other areas in my house that I would have expected to go to, and I didn't. It's like, I can't even walk into my house. So that was really amazing to me. And I think I've done some of this intuitively, at least the awareness part, and realizing that I get overwhelmed. But I love the 5 steps. And I think that the 1 step at a time was really huge, because that's the part that I got intuitively, is I realized that I get overwhelmed. And so if I just take a small thing and do it, then it just opens up the space to do something else. So thank you so much for that. I love your process. And I'm looking forward to reading your books.
Great, Sheila.
Thank you.
Thank you. It is it's so, it's so simple. People go, well, where's the there? And that's the thing. In order to tiptoe around the mind, we have to actually, it's called the amygdala. It's that sort of reptilian part of our brain. It's like we have to tiptoe around it in order to make any progress, because otherwise it's like I call it the Secret Service agent that jumps into action the minute it senses danger. And so we need, it works great if you're getting attacked in the wild, but it's not working for us in clutter clearing. So the small baby step method is the way to go around the amygdala, so it doesn't wake up. Just want to keep it asleep. And it's a Japanese concept called Kaizen, which is very much a part of the work I teach. So thank you, Sheila.
Thank you.
Enjoy. So anyone who would like to go? Anyone want to go?
We have one more with their hand raised. So
Great. Awesome.
let's see. Yeah, Roxanne.
Hi, Roxanne.
Here I go. Hi. It's lovely. The tour through my house led me to realize that there are places in my house that feel not alive.
Not alive.
If that makes sense. Places that we just don't use, don't go. And maybe this question is for another type of class, but I'm wondering if maybe the reason could the reason be that I'm not working on making my home more home-like, because this isn't supposed to be my house. This isn't supposed to be my home. Or if I work on making it more home-like, will that make it become my home? If that makes sense. Does it make? I hope it makes sense.
And I know exactly how I would answer it, which is you have the answer. It's what I call a wonder question. These questions are wonder questions. It's like there's some side of you that is wondering, what, is this, what is the stuck energy here? Do I need to move things around? Maybe the answer can be resolved by using the 5-step method. It's like writing down the question and sort of setting an intention that the answer will come to you, and then adopting some sort of practice of those 5 S's, and being open. And so again, curiosity, like, can you reveal to me what it is that I need to do next? It's hard to know what to do next if you don't know what you really want, right? What is it that's being called for? So you got to dial it back even more. Maybe it's too big a question,
Yeah.
But that's kind of what I propose is pose it as a wonder question and set an intention for the answer to be revealed to you. And it's probably not going to come in the way that you expect, and just be open to it coming in ways, sort of mysterious ways. I lost you. I don't know where you are, but
Well, that's the
there
way
you
the
go.
best,
Yeah. Does
the
that
best
make
information
sense?
comes that way, I've found.
What's that?
Yes, yes. And as you were talking, it came to me that maybe my first step is this space that I'm in is kind of my room in the house. And what it said to me was that it was very frustrated because it's not being used in the way that it was intended to be used. So maybe if I make that project first, if I take care of that and make this space itself and myself,
Yep.
that might lead me to more of an answer.
Yeah, and your answer is already there. You were invited to come up with one simple task that you could adopt for the week. That's your first step right there.
Yeah.
And once you've sort of started to, again, using the 5 S's, started to find the flow with it, the next step is going to reveal itself to you. But not until you've sort of completed this. Okay?
Yeah. Yes, that's helpful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. So I don't see any other hands. I'm just wondering,
We do have, if you don't mind, there was a question. There was 2 questions in chat, but the
oh,
one
good. Yeah,
earlier.
great. Read them to me. That would be awesome.
Perfect. All right. So this one is from Joanne, and it says, "Hi, Stephanie. I did your year clear, and it transformed my life and most of my home, but I am stuck on clothes and shoes. I teach and work in fashion design with a focus on sustainability and cannot seem to declutter.
Mhm.
Things get worn or out of fashion. I mend, alter, or upcycle them. I also find I try out new shapes by designing new or sourcing vintage for inspiration. What can you suggest?"
5 S's. That's what I suggest. And the way to play with the clothes in particular, and this is the slow drip approach, is to take one of the garments, just one, or one pair of shoes, and put them, you probably did this already because it's in my course, A Year to Clear What's Holding You Back, is to put it on your lap and then bring all 5, do like that meditation you did for the home, but do it for these shoes or dress or whatever, and ask it to tell you what it needs. And by sort of slowing down and just simplifying by just taking that one thing, sensing, how does the thing make you feel? Do the questions that are associated, how's this thing making me feel? What is this thing or the feelings around this thing teaching me about me? And what is one way that I can cultivate self-care around this process of clearing, really the one area that really gets me stuck, which is clothes and shoes. Does that make sense, Joanne? I see, sort of, no? Maybe not, I don't know.
Sorry. Hi, I'm going to unmute. Hi.
Yeah, please.
I just want to keep everything. This is the problem. I did clear everything and went to like a capsule wardrobe when I had my son, but I get bored so easily that I just want to keep everything. And some things, they just get like kind of, people would say they're beyond repair, and I restore them and bring them back, and I just love them so much. And I just really just, you know, and some things, they're just so me, and I, you know, they transcend fashion, and the way fashion's moving is towards this more kind of personalized thing, and I'm just really struggling to kind of keep it contained, because I see things I love and I'm just so excited by them, and I just want to bring them in. And it's like, even though I do get rid of things regularly, I sell bits on and donate things and whatnot, but I just have like, I don't know, it's just an area that I have a lot, and I just wondered if there was anything else you could suggest for reducing it.
Yeah, it's a great question, because, you know, technically it's not clutter if you love it, you know?
No.
But here it is clutter if you don't have a home for it. So that's my definition of clutter. Do you love it? Do you use it? Does it have a home? If you love it, use it, and has a home, it's not clutter.
Okay.
But so that's the deal is, okay, I love these clothes, but I have no room for all of these clothes. You have to do the tough love thing, which is why I say, don't go into like shock, you know, like overwhelm. Oh my God, I don't want to I love these things so much. And what if I need them? I know this because I go through that. So, one thing, just choose one thing and work with that one thing, like as the representative for the whole. That's the work. Work with the one thing that's the representative for the whole thing. Okay. Choose one thing and work on it until it starts to quiet the part of you that's in panic about, how am I going to fit all this, and, you know, how am I going to contain all this stuff?
Okay. Yeah, it's all folded beautifully, but there is like literally no space.
No room. So that's the problem. And it's not a problem. Just go to the space between the problem and the outcome, the desired outcome, and hang out there. Remember the woman jumping up? Go to the middle, the messy middle, and stay there until something shifts for you.
Right. Thank you very much.
All right. So I think we need to close up. I have a few more things I want to say about this little that's cool. It's just a little practice that you can do with your purse, wallet, or that thing you carry around. So are we good, Jamila? Can I just go back to screen share?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. And then I'm going to close up with some ways that you can continue to support your journey. Okay. The first thing, how are you feeling now? Doesn't end. Same or different as when you started. So the purse is such a great place to start and practice. And if you want to do like a little reduce and repeat thing, rule of one thing, here are some ways you can play. This is also in my book, by the way, Your Spacious Self, my first book. It's called the 4-pile method. And what you want is to just start to, you know, take everything out of the purse or the wallet or the backpack or whatever it is. Think of this as practice. And then put it into 4 piles. You got the stay pile, the go pile, the throw pile, and the don't know pile. Hopefully the don't know is the smallest of your piles. So stay just stays put, goes back in the purse or the wallet or the backpack. go are the things that kind of got, you know, should be somewhere else and need to be put away. They kind of went rogue and ended up where they don't belong. Throw is obvious, toss or recycle. And don't know is like, you just reserve a little spot for those things. You're not quite ready. It's like the shoes and the dresses. It's like, I'm not ready to let them go yet, but I know this is really crowded in my closet, but I'm not ready to let it go. Give yourself a break. It's okay. It's okay to not know. Let yourself not know and be okay with that. That's self-care, by the way. That's true self-care. So this is a picture of my friend Christine's drawer. I just love what she did and how she made everything look so beautiful. You know, it's like things going together where they like together with what, you know, rubber bands together and Sharpies together. And so that's another way to rearrange your things once you start putting them back where they belong is organized for beauty. Does it bring you alive? Does it look beautiful? Make your heart sing. All right, so if you're willing to play the bigger game with clearing, and I hope you all are, and this is the long game, this is the game for life, here's some ways to do it. Ways to support your journey. So I have 3 books. They're all in the bookstore of this conference. This one here, my newest one, is The Spacious Way. So if you really wanted to go on a journey, a slow drip journey of The Spacious Way, it's called A Year for You. And it really is the entire method, sort of taking you on a journey for a year. This one was my second book, A Year to Clear, is the Camino. You know the Camino to Santiago? Well, this is if you want the Camino of clearing, you don't have to leave home or pack your bag. A Year to Clear is your book. It's every day you get a little message from me with a little sort of contemplation that you can journal and write about and reflect on. So this is an everyday, daily, this is weekly that you do every day. So I give you a weekly thing to read that you then practice every day. And if you really want to know the whole science behind this method, the Kaizen, the space clearing, the whole invisible clutter, how I came to this, it's my first book, Your Spacious Self. That will give you the foundation for a whole new way to clear. And I recommend all 3 books, honestly. They're not the same, but they really do inform and support each other. And another way to go is if you're into online courses, I have 4 of them at Daily Om, and they're not the same as the book. The books are more expanded versions of the courses, but if you really just want to drip, 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 slow it way down and get an email in your inbox, you can find that again on my website. I'm going to give you the link in a second. If you're into Instagram, I love taking pictures and I post some kind of a beautiful something. I'm all about life in the slow lane. And if you want to join me, Life in the Slow Lane, you can meet me at Spacious Way and say hi to me. So, you know, I know that you were here at Spacious Way on Instagram. And for, you know, if you want to get my newsletter, I don't blog as much, but I do maybe once a month. It goes to email, or I'll send out a newsletter from time to time. I try not to, you know, clutter people's inboxes, but if something comes up I want to share, you can sign up for my newsletter and stuff on my website. So for all of the info, spaceclear.com is my website. One word, spaceclear.com. And let's see, what else? That's it. So go out and clear, and happy clearing, and spread your beautiful, good energy. And thank you so much, all of you, for being here and joining me and on my, like, these romps. Like, we're all in it together, and I really am on a mission to change the way we relate to our stress and our stuff. And I hope that you can, you'll join me there. You know, we're like, this is a path, and I really love it. And I just can't wait to, you know, share it. So, and if you really enjoy the books and stuff, just let people know. And I'd like to really grow the energy for this kind of work. So that's it, everybody. And thank you. I will turn off screen share and say bye. Oh my God, 5 o'clock on the dot. How
Look
how
at
great is
you.
that?
Perfect.
I'm sorry if I didn't get to answer everybody's questions, but I really, I can feel you. I feel you all. And I'm so grateful that this circle came together and that it worked out. So
That's beautiful. And just thank you, everyone.
Mwah,
Thank you so
mwah,
much,
mwah,
Stephanie,
mwah.
for
Lots of love.
sharing all your
All of
wisdom
you.
with us and taking us through all of that. And we just ask that you all enjoy the rest of our presentations. But again, Stephanie, thank you. This was just freaking wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
That
Well,
was great.
I love doing it. So, and I love that you are all here. So thank you. Thank you for doing the work. Doing the work. Please, it's simple. Do it. You can do it.
Oh, I love it. I love
Enjoy
it.
the rest of the conference, you all. I know it's just getting better. So have fun. And
Okay.
see you
Bye,
on the path,
all. Thank you
everybody.
so much.
Bye, y'all. Ciao.